We're gonna be watching Cape Horn, the deadliest waters on Earth by the Drowned Archives.
At the bottom of the world, where the oceans collide. A place where the winds almost never stop blowing, where waves can rise taller than buildings, and where hundreds of ships have disappeared into the deep.
Where even is this?
That place is Cape Horn.
Cape Horn. Okay, cool.
In this video, we'll explore why Cape Horn became the deadliest passage at sea, uncover the brutal conditions that claimed thousands of lives, and examine the legacy it left behind in maritime history. For centuries, rounding Cape Horn was the greatest challenge in sailing, a brutal passage that tested not only a ship's endurance, but also the limits of human survival. Cape Horn is located at the southernmost tip of South America, marking the boundary where the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans meet. This headland belongs to Chile, sitting at the edge of the Tierra del Fuego archipelago. But for sailors in the past, Cape Horn was more than a point on the map. It represented the last barrier before the open seas of the Pacific or the return to the Atlantic. It was also the most dangerous. Before the Panama Canal opened in 1914, there was no shortcut between the east and west coasts of the Americas. Ships carrying goods between Europe, Asia, and the Americas had no choice but to sail the long way around, braving Cape Horn to complete their voyages. What made Cape Horn so deadly was a combination of geography, weather, and ocean dynamics. The Cape sits at the latitude of 56 degrees south, right in the path of what.
I wonder how, like, long time ago, like, ships that were just, like, made out of wood. I really wonder how the hell they didn't just break down. Because if there was a storm, dude, I don't know how they did it without light. It would be pitch black. You wouldn't know what was happening. Because if you're on the ocean, have you ever been on a cruise and you look at your surroundings during the night, it is pitch black. So let's say that it was a storm. How did they make it out alive? Like, every ship should have sank. Because you can't see anything. And what's a fire going to do when it's raining on a thunderstorm? You can barely see anything.
What sailors call the Furious 50s.
These
are the strongest sustained winds on Earth, circling the planet nearly unbroken. With no large land masses to slow them down, the winds gather momentum across thousands of miles of open water, striking Cape Horn with full force. At the same time, the Antarctic Circumpolar Current, the largest current in the world, pushes cold water from west to east through the Drake Passage. This creates an ongoing collision between the powerful Pacific swells and the opposing conditions of the Atlantic. The result is chaotic, towering seas. Waves here regularly reach 40 to 50 feet, and in extreme conditions can rise to 80 feet or more.
So they regularly have just tsunamis happening every time on the regular. So that's a regular wave. But let's say you get an aggressive wave that could be like probably double, 70, 80 feet just going on. Why is this like not really heard of that much? Or at least not to my knowledge. I didn't really know about this until today. If anything, like big waves are usually known in, I don't know, like Portugal for Nasseré. That's what I've heard, that there's massive waves that happen usually. But over here, it's 40 to 50 regularly. It's not really a beach or a shore. It's just what's happening down like Pacific Ocean, bottom of Chile, but still.
Sailors call them Cape Horn rollers, waves that come from multiple directions with no clear pattern, making them nearly impossible to predict.
Oh, I hate that.
Icebergs also drift north from Antarctica into these waters. In the era before radar and satellite navigation, these icebergs posed a silent, lethal threat to any vessel that came too close. Weather in this region changes quickly and without warning. A calm day can turn into a hurricane-strength gale in less than an hour.
Less than an hour.
The combination of violent seas, freezing temperatures, and sudden storms made Cape Horn infamous among sailors as the most dangerous passage on Earth.
Imagine just like chilling, like down on the ship, just catching some fish. I don't know if there's fish down there. There probably is, but I don't know if that's the best fishing spot. You can just be chilling, and next thing you know, you have a hurricane over you, or a 50-foot wave just coming at you from different directions. It would suck to be there.
Between the 17th and early 20th centuries, thousands of ships attempted the Cape Horn route. Many didn't survive. Historians estimate that over 10,000 sailors died trying to round the Horn. The toll was not just from shipwrecks, but also from exposure, accidents, and illness brought on by the relentless cold and wet conditions at sea.
So over 10,000 ships were lost in that sea. So that could also mean that there's probably treasure down there. Possibly. Maybe the One Piece is hitting all the way down there. Who knows?
Hundreds of ships vanished beneath the waves or were shattered against the rocky shores. In the 19th century, over 800 shipwrecks were recorded in the waters near Cape Horn. Some of the most notable tragedies include the William Brown, which struck an iceberg in 1841, and the Dundonald, wrecked in 1907, leaving a handful of survivors stranded on a remote island for months.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Life at sea during these voyages was harsh beyond modern understanding. Crews worked in freezing rain and gale-force winds, often climbing ice-covered rigging just to keep their ships afloat. Hypothermia, frostbite, and exhaustion were constant threats. Many sailors referred to rounding Cape Horn as a rite of passage, but for too many, it became a final journey.
Why would you
Today,
wanna go
most
there? If
commercial
you knew that,
ships
why would you
avoid
want
Cape
to go
Horn
there?
altogether, thanks to the safer and faster Panama Canal. But Cape Horn is still there, and the dangers remain. Modern cargo vessels occasionally round the Horn when size or circumstance demands it, and sailing expeditions often attempt the route for tradition, sport, or personal challenge. The Chilean Navy maintains a lighthouse and weather station at Cape Horn today, along with a small monument, a memorial to the sailors who lost their lives in these unforgiving waters.
That's not.
Cape
They have a
Horn is
memorial.
more
That's
than
cool.
just a remote corner of the world. It's a symbol of human resilience, the limits of exploration, and the raw power of nature. For centuries, it tested the skill and bravery of sailors from every nation, and for thousands of them, it was the last place they ever saw. The legacy of Cape Horn is not one of myth or exaggeration. It's a stark record of the cost of global trade and exploration in a time before modern technology made the oceans more predictable. Even now, in the age of satellite
Now, look at
navigation
those
and steel
waves.
ships,
God
the waters
damn.
around Cape Horn command respect.
Yeah, you're not surviving that.
The winds at Cape Horn still blow, and the sea still remembers. Thank you for watching this.
I feel so bad. There were so many people that lost their lives, and I feel bad for the first dudes that try to use their boat to just get around there, just to get on the other side. Because obviously, if you're the first one, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. So just imagine they try to swim down when the waters were calm, and then next thing you know, they just have an entire hurricane on top of them. I don't know how a small hurricane forms down there. First of all, I didn't even know that was possible to have a hurricane all the way down there. But that's actually pretty interesting.